Hello everybody, welcome back to more Mods 9, and today we're going to be automating daytime. But how am I going to do this, you might be wondering? Well, the way we're going to change the day from night to day is going to be with this tablet of sunrise from Ars Nouveau. It is very simple. It just needs a sunflower and blazing archwood. Both things I can just grow in botany pots, and both things would be already plentiful enough before, you know, it turns from daytime into nighttime. So we'll definitely have a plentiful supply. But as for automating its creation and its use, that is gonna be a bit more difficult. To do this, we're gonna need to grab our modular router from over here. This thing was actually being used to try and semi-automate my Morgan sword, but it just didn't work out too well. So, you know, we don't really need this anymore. So we can go ahead and just take this apart because we are going to need this router. So what we're gonna need is we're gonna need to go ahead and make ourselves our pattern, which is gonna be used to go ahead and auto-craft our tablet of sunrise. It'll actually need to be in the crafting section for once. So that is gonna be very interesting. I don't want substitutes. Yeah, no, wait. Now it's disabled. Okay. Because if it has substitutes, then it's gonna want to like use clocks and dandelions if it can. But I don't want that. I just want it to use blazing archwood and sunflowers, and then we'll have a crafting pattern. And then, rather than putting it in the extended pattern provider, I'm actually gonna put it in this one, which will only craft with a redstone signal. It might be better to put it on pulse, so that way it'll only make one. It's gonna have a constant signal, so once it turns back, it would do the same thing again. Because, like, I'm pretty sure a pulse also counts as it turning off. We'll see what happens. I'm gonna put it on pulse, but if all else fails, you know, it might not be perfect, but at the very least we can get this working. So now we'll automate that. But we still need to get ourselves a dandelion farm going. I already have the blazing saplings, I'm pretty sure. But for the dandelions, the only way I know I can guarantee them is gonna be to get out my good old friend, the market. Let's go ahead and put him back up and welcome our good old friend. Should I have just typed it in? Oh, there it is. Why did it put me all the way down there? Ugh, but there we go. Now we got ourselves a dandelion. So now I just need to set up some botany pots for it. And we can also just go ahead and get this market out of here because we don't need it anymore. Goodbye. Magic.
Later.
Alrighty, there we go. Now we've got our archwood and our dandelions up and going. I got insanium farmland in both of these because, like, it just speeds it up exponentially. So now we've got both of those things connected to the network, so they'll be pulled out once this thing receives its redstone pulse. Now then, for the juicy part, what we're going to need is gonna be a daylight detector from vanilla Minecraft, incidentally. We just have straight up vanilla. Then we need a redstone link. This is not from vanilla. This is from Create, and I have not used one of these since... Oh gosh, I think I haven't used one of these since Stone Block. That was over 2 years ago. That's so long ago. Okay, but in order for us to get this, we need to get ourselves a brass casing. We can do this by simply putting down a log here. I don't have an axe. Do I even have axes in here? I don't use axe. That's X, not axe. Here's a pro tip. Do not use your X to chop up wood. It doesn't work very well. Oh my gosh, but there we go. Now we got that. And this makes 2 of them, which is what we need. So now we got ourselves our redstone link. And I actually want to go ahead and grab myself... You know what? We'll do all the modium. This way, it actually fits with the theme of the mod pack. So, what we need to do with this, we put this on top right here. There we go. And then we want to right click it so that way this thing is now a receiver. I'm pretty sure this is right. So then we can set the channel and the frequency to this by putting an item in there. Oh, it just works. Okay, cool. So now this one is going to be set to the red all the modium channel. And then when I have another one connected that is not a receiver to the same network configuration like this, it will then send redstone signals over to here. And I can have multiple different channels, so this works really nicely. And then lastly, we're just going to want to get ourselves an export bus which is not expensive in the slightest. And there we go, we got that. Then we're just gonna need to go ahead and grab ourselves some cables. Very, very nice. I believe we are now ready for the automation, and it is nighttime, so this will work into our favor, as long as there are no baddies around here. Like, if a creeper or something, well, actually, creepers don't hurt me. I completely forgot I have kitty slippers on. Creepers won't come near me. But what we're gonna do, we kind of need this thing to be near the source jar, which is why I have this thing over here. But I'm gonna want to put this right here. That way, we still have the cable. You know, on hindsight, I didn't need to grab cables at all. Huh. Well, we can go ahead and put the export bus right there. And then we can go ahead and inside here set that to, well, we would need a tablet of sunrise. So I need to grab that. I honestly don't even know if this thing can even input things here. You know, I might need to do several things with the modular routers, but it's fine. So we can go ahead and put that right there. And then I don't need you to do these things right now. So now what we want to do is we want to mess with this in configuration. Attack nearby entities, we want it to right click. And we want it to, yeah, look level, I'm guessing. And I don't think it needs to sneak right click. And at the back of it, that is actually correct. Okay, so we want it to right click the back of it. And that should work. So we can go ahead and throw that back into there. All right, I got the tablet. So now what we should be able to do is we can just go ahead, if my game will unfreeze, and put that into there. Okay, so now whenever there is one in my system, it will go over to here, but it's not going to craft it yet. Oh, you are being naughty, aren't you? But it's not going to craft it yet until we get that signal going over to it, which is where this thing is going to come in. Our little daylight sensor right here, which we can change to nighttime, because we want this thing to only work when the light turns to nighttime. So now we can go ahead and then send a redstone signal over to here, so that way this thing will now work once that happens. And then we can also go ahead and send another one over to here, and then set this to the all the modium channel. That's the wrong one. We don't want that one there. We want it up here. So there we go. Now it would auto-craft it once the signal gets over to there. But it's not going in. And this is actually something I might have been concerned about. So if I go back home, and then I want to go check if this thing worked. Because, yeah, this thing is currently getting redstone. So, did I get a tablet? If I did, then the craft works. Okay. It did not work. So then what I'm thinking this means is that the export bus cannot insert it into this. That is not actually a problem. I just need to rearrange a few things. Okay, give me a second.
Much later.
Okay. So now, what I did was, I accidentally put one in, and that's fine. But I moved the modular router right here, so that way the stuff will go inside of there. Then, what we have is it's just going to right-click on this thing when it has redstone power. So now, all we need to do is wait for it to turn nighttime, which won't happen for another 4 minutes. So let's actually wait for nighttime to arise, and then we'll be... Actually, wait, I'm stupid. I can just make it nighttime. All I'm gonna need to do that is we need to head back to chapter 1, the beginning, and then we need to find where I had the one for the sleeping bag. It was not even in none of those, it was in tips and tricks. What we need is we're gonna need a hammock. So we can go ahead and make a hammock right here. There we go. But it's also gonna require a rope and nails. Oh, well, I mean, it's literally just an actual thing. Like it's just an item, rope and nails. And then we can put the ropes right there, and then we should be able to just. I am putting it on rope and nails. Oh, it's not enough space. Okay, I never used one of these before, so cut me some slack here. Okay, so let's go ahead, move this out. I am desperate for nighttime. You know what? I bet you, since this is supposed to be a bed, I need to have 4 blocks of space. That way I have those guys there, and then we can have the hammock right here. There we go. Now it works. So now, so that way we can get this thing to nighttime, we can just go ahead and go to sleep. That way, it should turn us over to nighttime. There we go. And it's not working. Oh, wait, we got a little bit of redstone power now. Okay. So we just need to wait for this thing to get, like, really high, and then it should work. Tablet of Sunrise turned off. Does this actually not work? This might actually not work. That's unfortunate. So if I right-click this... Oh, wait, me right-clicking this doesn't even work either. So, I do need to shift right-click it? Wait, it's just flat out not working. Wait, what? Hold on a second. This thing's just not working.
Much later.
I figured out my problem. It is so simple, and yet so stupid. Why this thing wasn't crafting more is because I didn't ask it to. I need to put in a crafting card, so that way this thing will actually ask to make the tablets of sunrise. So now, if we go back over to here, and then look inside of my processing unit, yeah, now it is going to forever ask for one of those and only craft them when this thing is active. But I need to figure out how to make it actually pulse. And I have a way, and that is going to be with this thing right here, also from Create, called the Pulse Repeater. When I take this Pulse Repeater, and then we head back over to our farm, this took me a little bit to try and figure out, but hopefully this should work. Now we have that right there, and oh, I didn't want that. Okay, but what we want is we want this to be on seconds or minutes, but this thing basically extends just how long this thing will take for the pulse to get through from a redstone signal. So if I put this down to, say, 10 seconds before the thing affects, just so that way it can actually properly go all the way through. And then I turn this thing on, and I turn it off. In about 10 seconds, that pulse will still go through even without the redstone signal, and you can see it is brightening up. So then it goes, and then it runs, and it actually does it properly. So it's not going to do that whole lockup thing anymore. That is good. That is very, very good. Now, what is going to be a small pain is because it is now pulsing rather than actually working properly, the whole crafting thing that it's going to be doing, it's just going to be a bit wonky. But it should still work overall. I just still won't be able to actually use this thing until I get a more crafting CPUs.
Tomorrow.
Actually, as it turns out, I won't need to do that, because what I've done is I put a redstone card into here that will make sure that the crafting card will only want this thing to be constantly crafting upon a redstone signal. So we've connected the redstone signal to here, so that way this thing will only put in the request whenever we have redstone.
Yesterday.
So now let us take one last test. This should now work properly. There's a digger bee right here. But if we go to sleep, now this should work once I awaken. Okay. Now the light's going down. And yeah, the redstone is going through. Okay. So we're going to want to see how long this thing will actually take. Because, I mean, it is going to take a little bit. Yeah, now it's gone through. And the redstone is still in full. So now the tablet goes all the way through. And yeah, it took about 10 seconds for that thing to go down. And it doesn't look like it's going back up again. That's good. I want that. I don't want it to just keep going back randomly again. So there we go. That is perfect. Okay. That is so much simpler than what I was trying to do. I was going through a couple of different things. I don't even need this drawer anymore. I was trying something, like trying to figure out how to make this thing work to where it only, you know, put in one at a time, you know, not doing too many stacks at once, constantly putting it in. And it was like, it was so simple. This is actually, I way overcomplicated this. Oh my gosh, that is freaking awesome. I gotta be honest here. I did not think I could make a full video out of just trying to automate daytime, but I mean, here we go. We've come pretty far, honestly. So then, I guess what I want to do then, since we are not going to ever see the moon again, I want to make a preparation for the next video. Next video, I want to go to the moon. So, since we're going to be doing that, I want to be able to access my stuff from over there. So, we're going to actually finally set up our wireless AE2 thing. So, in order for us to make that, it is not too complicated, but we are going to need to get ourselves a few things. We can go ahead and make ourselves this wireless access point, grab our wireless receiver, and then we're going to want to put this on top of there, and there we go. Now it actually works, huh? Okay, I honestly thought I needed to put one of these wireless receivers on top of there. I guess it's just a crafting ingredient then. So now we can go ahead and then make ourselves this wireless crafting terminal. And it is now fully powered. And now what we need to do is just throw it into here. And now it is linked up to our terminal. So now I can actually access this whole thing from here. There is a limit to it though. Yeah, I can't access it from over here. That is a small problem. The way we're gonna solve that problem is gonna be with these boosters. We have a wireless booster right here, which can boost it by a little bit. That's good. But by making 3 of those and infusing it, we have an infinity range booster. But if we get 4 of those, we will then be able to get a dimension card, which acts as those infinity range boosters that works cross-dimensionally, because this thing does not normally. So it looks like this actually doesn't stack. So then we can go ahead and make all 4 of those, and then, oh wow, I actually don't have an eye of ender. I have all the stuff, I just don't have the eye of ender, huh? That's interesting. But now we can go ahead, make ourselves our dimension card. So now we have a range. Oh my gosh, that is so much. And it's only using 9 AE a tick. So do you like this video? Good. Then be sure to check out our last video where we set up our SPS in order to create our antimatter for the All the Mods star. Bye-bye!